We are almost there with one more week left until conference tournaments begin. One final week of conference play with a couple conference tournaments starting this weekend with the Patriot League having their conference championship and the Southland Conference beginning tomorrow with their tournament. But man, we had another great weekend in college baseball and a lot to go over in a new Field of 64 projections by D1 Baseball. So we will look into those. But before we get into today, welcome to Across the Board. Usually there's another guy with me. Jane's usually with me, but he is at the NAIA National Championship for golf. So shout out to him. He's been playing really well, and so we are happy for him and all he's accomplished in doing. So that being said, it is just me today. But we do have a lot of college baseball to go over, so we must go on. And so let's go and hop right into it. As you know, we'll start with the power schools, and then we will move into mid-major conferences and so forth. We will look in the Field of 64, stress meter, and then your schedule for the week. So I do want to start in the SEC, always where we usually start. A couple big series for me, Vanderbilt and Mizzou. Mizzou took this series 2-1, and this basically knocks Vanderbilt's chances out of getting a bid. They're going to have to win the conference tournament this week. They were in the 4 to watch last week, but now they're going to need to win the conference tournament. And an insane game one in the 9th inning. A lot of questions if that was a ground rule double or a home run. Who will ever know? Who will ever know? Alabama swept South Carolina. Florida took 2-1 from Kentucky. Kentucky has not been swept in a series all season in conference play. They do have one series left, but that's huge for them. That's kind of kept their hopes alive in the tournament of getting a bid. And I say hopes because they are in the field right now. But LSU swept by Georgia. They are in a weird position, looking like right now they're going to have to win the conference unless something miraculous happens against Florida and they get a boost in RBI or anything of that nature. But let's go and hop right into some of the big series for me. I will start with Texas A&M Ole Miss. Ole Miss took the series 2-1, and this was great baseball and great bounce back for Ole Miss. Obviously talked about them last week on the meter. Little concerned, but wasn't concerned at the same time. They came out, Hunter Elliott performed. He looked a lot better. In Game 2, A&M hopped all over Townsend, but in Game 6, not in Game 6. I'm still in hockey mode right now. In Game 3, in the final game of the series, Taylor Rave looked great. He got 14 strikeouts, giving up 6 hits and 5 runs, but he looked very well, and I'm very optimistic about this Ole Miss pitching group. But A&M has got some bats, and they've really got some good players on the mound. I think, again, the pitching is going to be the biggest question is how consistent can they be. But I love watching both these teams play. Chris Akopian looked great. Ben Royo, what a great weekend he had. He looked outstanding, and he played well for this A&M team. But this was a very competitive series on a lot of ends, and for me, I think both these teams can very well be Omaha teams. I think I'm looking at A&M and saying, can you get your pitching consistent? And for Ole Miss, the bats have gotten a lot better, and I think they have a rotation, plus a little bit out the bullpen with Hudson Calhoun and Walker Hooks to maybe get them somewhere. So I do love this series. I love watching these two go at it. Ole Miss walks away, though, with the victory. Now we'll head to Texas and Tennessee. Tennessee, what a big weekend. Took 2-1. Tegan Kuntz, what a great outing he had. He went 7 innings, giving up 4 hits, 1 walk, 15 Ks. Brandon Arvidsson right behind him with putting in 2 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 4 Ks. Really knocking it down. But man, this Tennessee team, man, they just continue to fight. Texas has just had their struggles. They gave up a lot of runs this weekend. The pitching was not there for this team, and that's a big concern. But, Tennessee is just what Josh Elander's been able to do, especially kind of at the beginning of the season. You lose a series to Kent State. It's very kind of on the fence. How do we feel about this team? And the pitching comes alive. Everything comes together. And they've been playing some great baseball. I mean, you're getting the bats. Really the big encouraging thing for me was seeing the bats get hot when they did. I mean, that's huge. For a team that's got the pitching group, if they can get the bats going, this team can be elite. They showed up. They showed out. and they did what they needed to do. But I am a little concerned for Texas. I think, really the outings you had were not there, with Volantis and Riojas. And, Volantis wasn't horrible, but you kind of look at this, and again, it's looking a little shaky for Texas after this week. But again, Tennessee's a good team. I still think Texas is going to be a good team. They will be fine, but it is definitely something to kind of look into going forward with these teams. But now we will go to Oklahoma and Arkansas, another series where both pitching staffs, I just have to say this, and I really hate saying this. I feel like I'm being a very big hater towards these teams, but the pitching groups for both of them have just not been good. Hunter Dietz, I will say, has been good for Arkansas, but behind him, I just don't think there's much for me to be really excited about. And that sounds hateful, and so I hate saying the way I do. But Hunter Dietz has been great for this team, but their bats. What I think the big thing for Arkansas, though, is the pitching hasn't been great, but man, have the bats come alive when they have. They have been absolutely on fire in all point, and they tore up this Oklahoma pitching staff, who I mentioned last week on the stress meter, just very inconsistent, struggling, just not getting long outings. And it's really, really been a concern on their end of things. And Arkansas, TJ Pompey has been absolutely dynamite for them. Camden Kojo had a 3-hit game. For me, I love what Arkansas has been able to do with the bats over these past couple weeks. I feel like they've came alive. The pitching and that has just been a concern on both ends for me. Oklahoma, though, now you have to be more concerned with the pitching. They weren't able to get a closeout a couple of those games, and it puts them in a very bad spot. And so they're a team that you just have to watch out for now. And they've been falling down and falling down and falling down. But they've got to get consistency in the bullpen. And even from your starters, from all areas of your whole pitching group, you've got to get that consistency. But love what Arkansas was able to do this weekend with their group. Now we'll go to Auburn, Mississippi State. Auburn 2-1, taking the series win. And Mississippi State took game one dominantly, and then after that, it just all fell in Auburn's hands. I mean, Andreas Alvarez and Jackson Sanders, they combined 9 innings pitched. They both gave up 10 hits, 4 runs, 4 walks, 11 Ks. Tomas Valencius looked good. I mean, he played well. Alex Petrovic and Ryan Hessler, he looked good. He did his thing. The Auburn bats have come alive, but man, Mississippi State on the back end of things. I mean, the pitching wasn't great, and the Auburn bats were just good. Auburn's going to be a really good team, and I'm really pumped to watch them going forward and what they've got. I mean, they've been a group that has been kind of talked about as being an Omaha team. I said on mine, I think they're very capable of being an Omaha team. There is work that has to be done, though. Mississippi State's into things. It's been very weird watching them. I mean, they've had their struggles in a lot of areas. I mean, and not really that they have a lot of, that they're not good in that sense. I mean, they are a great team. They've just had their struggles over these past few weeks, and whether it's from the starters, the bullpen, or even the bats getting hot, it's another thing that just has to be paid attention to with these guys. And you look at it going forward, they have got work they've got to get done, and they've got to be better if they want to be a team to go to Omaha. I mean, I was saying maybe I think it was about a month ago at this point that they're very well could be an Omaha team. And right now, I'm kind of not feeling the same way. But to me, I mean, it's crushing for Mississippi State, but Auburn, huge weekend series win, and loved what they were able to do this weekend. We'll go to the ACC and just kind of run through these real fast. Don't really want to dive too deep into them, but I do just kind of want to talk about them because they're important to mention. FSU took 2-1 from Clemson, but Clemson gets a big win. They don't get swept, move up in the RPI, kind of getting themselves into tournament talk. Pitt swept by UNC. Why that's important? Pitt is on the outside looking in. Big weekend, was not able to do anything with it. Wake Forest took 3 This weekend, Miami 2-1 from Louisville. Stanford took 2 of 1. Boston College split their series with NJIT. Georgia Tech took 3 from Duke. Virginia Tech and UNGC split at 1-1. The big series, Cal 2-1 from Virginia. They move up in the RPI, but what a weekend from those guys. They have bounced back huge in the ACC, and you've got to love what they have been able to do with just really coming back and what they've been able to do, and it's really encouraging on their end of things. And honestly, I was struggling to read going forward, which is really embarrassing. We got stuck going through this, but I'll repeat that one more time. FSU took 2-1 from Clemson. Pitt was swept by UNC. North Carolina took 3. Wake Forest took 3. Miami took 2-1 from Louisville. Stanford took 2. BC took split with NJIT. Georgia Tech took 3 from Duke. Virginia Tech split with UNGC, and Cal took 2-1 from Virginia. Really huge weekend for some of those teams, and that's just big in that conference going forward. Big 12 talk, another conference that has just really been exciting to watch on a bunch of ends, really up top in those standings, and you've got to love what they've been able to do up top. I mean, Kansas, West Virginia, those two went at it this weekend. We're going to get to them. But just some other important series. Houston took 2-1 from Arizona. Texas Tech took 2-1 from BYU. Cincinnati took 2-1 from Kansas State. TCU swept Utah. Absolutely huge weekend for the Horned Frogs. That was humongous for those guys. UCF took 2-1 from Baylor. That was humongous. And then a couple more series I want to dive into. Arizona State and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State 2-1 in this series. And man, oh man, they've got some pop in the bats. This team looked really, really good. And, you look at this series, and I'm looking at Arizona State again, and they're another team that has fell to me as struggling on the mound. You've got Cole Carlone, who I think has been really good, and then Cole Klecker, who I think has been solid. But when you kind of look at the bullpen and things, to me, there's nothing there. They've really struggled in the bullpen. This weekend showed it. And Oklahoma State absolutely took advantage of that. And they did exactly what they needed to do. Ethan Land for Oklahoma State had a good outing. He went 5 innings, had 6 Ks. But I'm looking at this Arizona State team, and I think there's a lot of flaws. I just do. And I think there's a lot of pop in the bats. Obviously, Landon Harrison's a big part of their team. Cole Carlone, Cole Klecker, they've got those guys at the start in their rotation. But when you get to the bullpen, to me, it's really shaky. It's really kind of out of hand. And really kind of inconsistent when you get to that point. And that's a huge, huge downside, especially when you play good teams who have really good bats. If you have to go dig in the bullpen and you have nobody you can go to, I mean, it's tough. It can put a lot of stress on your team. But a huge weekend win for Oklahoma State, absolutely huge. And then West Virginia and Kansas. West Virginia sweeping Kansas was the biggest surprise of the weekend. But a very competitive series. Max Yield for West Virginia won a complete game in Game 1 with 9 innings, having 9 Ks, 6 hits, 1 run, 2 walks. Dominic Viola, he was still good in his outing for Kansas. Armani Guzman, absolute big piece for West Virginia. And Cole Chanson and Ian Korn, 9 innings together, 6 hits, 2 runs, 9 Ks. And even then, we go down the list. Dawson Monson and Reese Mallinger, 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 5 walks, 7 Ks. Those two guys have been outstanding. I do apologize for these name pronunciations. I jumbled a bunch of my writing to get all this fitted on a page. But this West Virginia pitching staff, what they've been able to do as a group over this weekend, really, against a good Kansas team, they're batting .327 in conference, first off. Their run margin, they're plus 71 in conference. and they're pitching a 4.25 ERA. I mean, they have been at an elite level in the Big 12 play, and I mean, they moved up as my favorite. I was huge on Kansas, and not that I'm still not big on Kansas, but I think West Virginia now is a big contender for me in the big. I don't even say contender. I mean, I think they can win the conference. I think they will win the conference right now. So I do love this group, and I will say I do think West Virginia will win this conference after this weekend. I'm just was very encouraged. And for Kansas, I have to go to their side of things. They still had great pitching. They really competed. Game 3 kind of got out of hand, but really the first 2 games really competitive, and nothing to be ashamed of from those guys. We'll go to the Big Ten now. Purdue swept Indiana, big weekend for them. Ohio State took 2-1 from Michigan State. Nebraska swept Iowa, great bounce back after last weekend. Rutgers took 2-1 from Maryland. Illinois took 3-0 from Northwestern. Michigan took 2-1 from Minnesota. USC swept Nevada 3-0. And another big series that we have to dive into, UCLA and Oregon. UCLA takes a loss in conference play to Oregon. What a series this was from these two teams, really two competitors in the Big Ten. And Oregon, a team I have really kind of been low on. I rarely haven't been up on, but I've really been high. But I love they competed with UCLA this weekend. So I think that was huge for their group. But Wheelan Moss, he's just been great for this group, man. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 9 Ks. I mean, this team's batting .302 in conference, plus 47 run differential, 3.01 ERA. I mean, they're just good. But I love what Oregon was able to do and just really competing. That's what you have to do against UCLA. You got to compete. You're a conference opponent, and I loved how they battled. But UCLA, man, still dominant in the Big Ten, and you just have to love really what's going on if you are a UCLA fan. But if you're Oregon, well, I think that's really just positive. I think it's really big insight, kind of just showing, hey, I mean, we competed with the number 1 team in the country for 3 games, and that's huge. And we were able to steal one. So a huge weekend there for UCLA and Oregon. Really big for both teams. But now we'll go to the mid-majors and kind of run through these. Old Dominion took 2-1 from Coastal Carolina. Really big upset there in the Sun Belt. High Point swept Winthrop. High Point absolutely dominant this weekend. Oh my goodness, what a group. And they just took over this weekend. Memphis took 2-1 from UTSA. Really big surprise in the American. VCU 2-1 from St. Joseph's. A really tough fight between those two in the A-10. Texas State swept Arkansas State. Really huge. I will tell you why that's big in a moment. La Tech 2-1 from Liberty. La Tech has been so good. They've just got it, and they've been moving up in the RPI and in the RPI rankings and up on the field of 64. They're close. They're right in there. Rice 2-1 from ECU. Really big weekend for Rice and ECU. Not what you wanted if you're a fan of the Pirates. Troy 2-1 from South Alabama. Big weekend there. And Charlotte 2-1 from UAB. That is not what you wanted if you were a UAB Blazer. You had a chance to move up and put yourself in the tournament, possibly in the field. Not what you wanted to see there. Louisiana took 2-1 from App State. That was a big weekend for there. And then Mercer swept BMI. I do want to apologize as well. In the schedule, I've had them playing Alcorn State. I'm not really sure where I had that from. But they played VMI this weekend, so I do want to apologize there on my end, as that was all of my fault. Now, we're going to jump into the field of 64 and really dive into this and really look in the bubble and talk about really these mid-majors and even some more of those teams that I've highlighted in the power conferences, because they really do have big meaning in the end of things, and even really looking forward to your final week before conference play. So we'll jump into field 64 right now. We'll work our way down to, actually, no, we will start from the top and go down. Now, obviously, number 1 national seed is still UCLA, with the 2 seed being Miami, 3 seed Kent State, 4 seed San Diego State. Number 2 national seed is Georgia Tech, hosting the Atlanta Regional, with number 2 seed Tennessee, 3 seed Tarleton, 4 seed Bethune-Cookman. Then your number 3 national seed, Georgia, with the 2 seed being Jacksonville State, 3 seed TCU, 4 seed FDU. 4 national seeds is going to be Auburn, with the 2 seed being UCF, 3 seed Michigan, 4 seed North Florida. I would be really interested to see this regional for some reason. I don't know why, but I think it'd be very interesting. Number 5 national seed is the North Carolina Tar Heels, with the 2 seed being UC Santa Barbara, 3 seed Liberty, 4 seed Campbell. Another one I really want to watch. Couldn't tell you why, but I do. Number 6 national seed is the Texas Longhorns, with a 2 seed Boston College, 3 seed Texas State, 4 seed Oral Roberts. That's interesting, man. That'd be an interesting regional for sure. Number 7 national seed is Alabama, with a 2 seed Virginia, 3 seed High Point, 4 seed St. John's. 8 national seed is Texas A&M, with 2 seed Cincinnati, 3 seed UTSA, 4 seed Binghamton. That really could be an interesting regional if that was one. And then the 9 seed in the Hattiesburg regional, you've got Southern Miss with a 2 seed being Oklahoma, 3 seed East Carolina, 4 seed Indiana State. I really would love to see this one. This is one I would absolutely want to see in front of my face. Florida, number 10 national seed, with 2 seed Wake Forest, 3 seed Western Carolina, 4 seed St. Joseph's. To the 11 seed, Florida State, with number 2 seed USC, 3 seed Kentucky, 4 seed Yale. That would be interesting if that was a regional. 12th seed Mississippi State, with 2 seed Oklahoma State, 3 seed NC State, 4 seed Southeast Louisiana. 13th seed West Virginia, with 2 seed Coastal Carolina, 3 seed Virginia Tech, 4 seed Bucknell. 14 national seed Oregon State, with 2 seed Ole Miss, 3 seed Arizona State, 4 seed Niagara. That is one I'm going to circle. Oregon State without Dax Whitney, that is a huge loss, and that's really interesting to see how they will hold up. Number 15 national seed is the Kansas Jayhawks, with 2 seed Nebraska, 3 seed Missouri State, 4 seed SIU Edwardsville. The number 16 national seed is still the Oregon Ducks, with 2 seed Arkansas, 3 seed Gonzaga, 4 seed Wright State. And I would really love to see that one. So that is your Field 64 right now. Now it's time to jump into the bubble. Your last 4 in are TCU, Kentucky, ECU, Texas State. Their RPIs goes as follows. TCU is a 44, Kentucky 30, ECU 53, Texas State 41. That's your last 4 in. Those are important to keep in mind, especially with who they're playing this weekend, and we will get to the schedule later on. The first 4 out: Purdue, Louisiana, Mercer, Louisiana Tech. So Purdue has been an interesting one because they've really been on this bubble, I want to say, for the past 3 weeks now. The only issue that they have had is moving up the RPI, because they've done what they need to do in their series, they just have not been able to move up enough to kind of get them in and get them the quality wins. So they're a really interesting team to watch this weekend, and maybe they can get some help and get in there. We'll see. But Purdue, RPI 47, Louisiana 48, Mercer 38. Now, Mercer was an interesting one. The reason why they're here, they're 0-7 against Quad 1. However, when I wrote this down, they were 38. They have now moved up to 32, so I could adjust that. That isn't on me. But they're the one team that has moved. Everybody else has still been the same. However, Mercer moved up to now 34 in the RPI, and Kentucky's moved down to 33. So everybody else should still be in their same spot. Now, Mercer did get their Quad 1 win against Georgia Tech last night. That was huge. That bumped up the RPI, and that is a Quad 1 win. That is really huge for them and the program. Now, Louisiana Tech, they're 62nd in the RPI. The 4 to watch, Miami, Ohio, 42. Again, another team that's bouncing around. The thing is, it's just who you're playing. The quality chance to move up in the RPI, you've got to play good teams. And that's just really kind of the struggle for them as well. Now, you don't always have to play good teams, but what really gives you that boost is playing those good teams. You know, you look at them where they're at right now. They're 4-6 against Quad 1, 2-3 against Quad 2, 10-4 Quad 3, and 19-2 in quad 4. So they're an interesting team to watch. Then you've got Pitt at 45. So with them, they're 8-12 in quad 1, 4-2 in quad 2, 3-6 in quad 3, and 14-1 in quad 4. So their team on the bubble right there. Troy, 51, 6-9 in quad 1, 4-4 in quad 2. This is what really hurt them. They're 15-3 in quad 3 games and 2-0 in quad 4. 15-13 in quad 3 games. That's where it kind of hurts Troy in that sense. Then you have UAB. They're 69th in the RPI. They're 5-10 in quad 1, 6-6 in quad 2, 2-2 in quad 3, and 16-5 in quad 4. Now, these do change throughout time, so some of these may be adjusted. Now, when I'm getting this out, they may have been adjusted by them, but that is currently what I'm looking at for the RPI of these teams. Again, they can change over time, so go check out the RPI rankings. They will be there for you. Now, time for the stress meter. And then we will go into scheduling and talk about the importance of a lot of these games this weekend. So we got 5 teams on here. We're going to start with Oklahoma. I made this myself. Obviously, Jaden has been busy, so I wanted to make sure I go ahead and make this. So I got 5 teams on here. We'll start with Oklahoma. And the thing remains the same for me. The bats are good, but the pitching is such a concern for me. I am up to a 7 now for Oklahoma. I was kind of in the middle with them, but now it is just keep going up. With them, with pitching being the way it is, it's a major concern. If they want to be an Omaha team, if they want to make it past a regional, they've got to pitch better. That's as simple as I can put it. The pitching is such a concern for me right now that there's nothing else that can go right for them. They have to score a lot of runs if they want to win games. And that's not always a recipe for success. Arizona State's on this list. To me, the situation's not as bad. The bullpen is a concern, yes, but they've still got bats and they've still got starting pitching. So I'm gonna go to a 4 for them. Again, both Oklahoma and Arizona State, I look at the pitching and my concerns are there with both those teams. The difference is Oklahoma, it's all around pitching group. Arizona State, I'm a little more leaning towards the bullpen side of things. So Arizona State, I'm at a 4. They're going to be a good team still. They've got the bats, they've got starting rotation, but can they get the bullpen going and rolling? Then we have Kansas next. I'm going to say a 3. Getting swept is not pretty, but man, they are still a good team. They've got pitching, and they do have bats still, but they met a good West Virginia team. But it's hard to be concerned with them. They just played a good team, and it was really competitive. Obviously, Game 3 did not go their way, but they competed the entire time. So I'm going to go with 3 for Kansas. And then you got Mississippi State next, and I'm just a little confuzzled with them. I just completely made that word up on the spot. But I'm really just confused with what's going on. And it's not that I just don't know what to think about them. Like, I am at a point for me where I'm really stuck. Because, I was talking about this team being an absolutely dangerous team come Omaha time. And, right now they're just not playing to that level. And for me, it's just not ideal by any means. Like I just don't know what to think. I'm really on the fence. Put it this way, I think they will get past a regional and go to supers. Can they go further than that? I don't know. Can they be in Omaha? I don't know. That's why I'm going to stick at a 3. Because after this weekend, you just had consistencies between the bats, the pitching. It's inconsistent between the groups. And so, for me, it's hard to put a finger on what this team is. So I'm going to have to stick where I'm at there. And then Texas is the next team after this weekend. I'm at a 2. Like, Was it a little concerning how they lost in Game 3? Yes, and times, but Game 2 is competitive, and you're going to have those moments. Pitching was a little concerning on Sunday, but they're still a good team, man. And Auburn has been playing at a much higher level, a much better level, I should say, of late. So I'm going to have to say a 3 for Texas. But that is the stress meter. Now it's time to go into the schedule for the week and really dive into this because a lot of these series are very important for a lot of reasons, and I will emphasize the significance as we go on. But first, Boston College, Georgia Tech, two big teams going at it. Miami, FSU, Notre Dame, Pitt. That's a big one. Pitt, the 4 to watch. You want to win this weekend, boost your RPI, and put yourself in the conversation. Clemson, Virginia Tech. Two teams, both just kind of like looking to get a little boost. Just get a little boost, and two teams who have really climbed up and been playing much better of late. TCU and West Virginia, that one's really self-explanatory, but TCU, last 4 in. They're in the last 4 in right now. West Virginia's been playing really well. They're going to have a tough task in their hands this weekend. North Carolina, NC State, rivalry baseball. Love to see it. Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama, Coastal Carolina, Louisiana. Louisiana, part of the first 4 out. Huge weekend for them, especially against Coastal Carolina. You can boost your RPI there, and that's what you want there. Sam Houston, Louisiana Tech, part of the first 4 out. Huge weekend for them. Then you've got Troy and UL Monroe. Troy, part of the 4 to watch. Want to give yourself a chance and want to boost yourself up. UAB and UTSA. UAB, part of the 4 to watch. Get a big weekend at UTSA. Could give yourself a boost. Marshall and Texas State. Texas State, part of the last 4 in. So always planetary. Give yourself a boost and kind of get yourself comfortably in there. Tennessee and Oklahoma. Purdue and Iowa. Purdue, part of the first 4 out. Want to get a boost to get into the tournament. Then you have Auburn and Georgia, USC, Oregon. Then you have FDU and Long Island, two teams up top of their conference competing. So that is your schedule for this weekend and this week. So go watch those games. And that is going to do it for today. Thank you for watching. Go follow us on our socials at Across the Board. We will be getting some hockey content posted out as well with playoffs going on. Me and JB, who has been a special guest for the past couple episodes for hockey, will be getting posted out for Stanley Cup Finals and the playoffs. But a big weekend in college baseball. We will be trying to stay on top of college baseball this weekend, trying to get the videos out fast. Obviously, with conference tournaments coming up the following week, I believe beginning on those Tuesdays, we will try to see if we can get something worked out and try and get a video out earlier of conference predictions, or we may do that on that Sunday, just depending schedule-wise. But go watch all those. Go follow us on our socials to keep up when we post. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you next time on Across the Board.